You come at the shop later in the day, zero sales, no juice. How that worked is still a miracle I'm trying to do some research on. The biggest surprise kwa biashara is usually when you think you have covered everything, only when you're on ground and realize the aspects that have not been met completely. Before the guy started job tena, tunamuexplainia your predecessor alifanya hivi. Anauza atupati pesa. So the guy, it's like we were giving the guy a cue. Okay. So ampati juice na ampati pesa. So mkipata juice na mkikosa pesa, it's fair. That was the biggest mistake. Tulimpea a head start. So yeye aliingia direct. Ashajua juice ikue, pesa isikue. That's exactly what happened. Juice iko, pesa hakuna. So pesa inapotelea wapi? Haiuzwi. But in real sense, juice inauzwa, maji ndio inaongezwa vibuyu kadhaa in our different juices. There is no glory without a story. And today I'm lucky to narrate mine. The story of a young man trying to venture in business in Nairobi. And my name is Eric Kyallo. A friend of mine that we've grown close over the years, while we were just having our normal conversation, he told me, I'm able to access a certain loan amount that he was talking around accessing an average of around $500,000. So we could use that amount for the business. But of course you don't get a 500,000 loan and then use all of it in a business, of course. So we were to structure the business plan in a way that it's just consuming a little amount or rather partially the amount that we were to get. So down the business plan, we planned for around 400,000. By that we mean we were to buy every machine that a juice business would need. That is from blenders to juicers to the mixers, everything that any business would need to run. That is even structured in the shop and all that. The biggest surprise kwa biashara is usually when you think you have covered everything, only when you're on ground and realize the aspects that have not been met completely. Tuko Githurai 45, tunaangalia cost for passion fruit, for teas, and we say everything we predicted, it's ticking in. Tunaenda Marikiti, we are looking at pineapples, these and these. Tuna realize, we predicted these prices. We literally covered everything. Let me tell you, we covered everything except all those fruits ziko kwa soko, ziko kwa duka. When the process really began, and tunahitaji now to get the fruits from the market kuleta kwa duka, and we realize kuna labor involved. Just an highlight. I was coming from a fashion background where we only deal with runway. Today, this event, this is a switch of totally new field. Na tunahave kubeba magunia. With my body, I'm literally 5'2". Gunia imejaa pineapple, passion. Hata assuming nisaidiwe, how will I navigate the busy Marikiti street? How will I navigate Githurai 45? Hata uniambie napeleka kwa ile pikipiki. Hata uniambie napeleka on that stop. How do you get to carry such a gunia katikati ya watu? now the reality started unfolding, man, and now tuko kwa biashara yenyewe. And then every minute I'm thinking about how can we dedicate these roles to someone else. Upate hizi vitu tunatumiwa, atu have kuamka, because now again I'm not very conversant or well settled when it comes to corporate life na discipline. Waking up in the morning doing this. Kwanza, it's just not a morning, early morning. Hakuna mtu huenda soko saa 3. So when we are talking about soko, we are talking about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Watu wa kawaida wanaamka 8, and hiyo 8 ushachoka because literally umefikisha magunia kwa duka. When you think umefikisha vitu na that's it, kumbe ndo unaanza. Miwa ishaletwa na pikipiki, we ni kuchukua panga na kuanza kukatakata miwa. It's already 8 a.m. There's no part of your body which is even moving. 8 a.m. in the morning. So now something started sitting in. I've just started this business. And it's here to stay. Yani, if I have to make a living, it's out of this lifestyle now. And it's every single morning. Yani, this thing started catching up that reality is serious. This is a lot of labor. Honestly, the end result was perfect. We are making the best juices. The people that can remember me from that industry can tell. These people were making the best juices. The only thing we didn't tell the customers, the kuwapea kale kamanu, how we got to get the fine juices. It's work. Now, that thing started now catching up with fatigue. By 1 p.m. ujakula kitu umekunywa ni hiyo juice, umemix passion, umemix mango, umemix apple, even the stomach is boiling. Literally, umekunywa acid, umekunywa sugar. You are hitting the reality on its best. So, your time hata ukiambiwa you're trying to keep fit, it's a myth. How will you even keep fit with this kind of nini? Wendo unaunda in the morning. So literally, unaonja kila kitu. So even if I don't want to onja any of these juices, nitaonja too because I want to give the best. I think I have already settled on one problem. Najua hapa kuna shida. The kind of labor involved to produce these juices is a menace. Ni shida. And then I'm already afraid. I'm like a month down this business, 2 months down this business. And I tell myself, oh, I don't have to do all this alone. I can have someone to help, you see? So asubuhi we came up with a strategy. Tunakomboa Masai wakitoka shift yao ya asubuhi ya kuchunga, wanapitia wanatukatakatia miwa. You see this tedious part of the job. Wanatukatakatia, wanatutolea passion fruit and all that. They were the ones to do that. But don't you forget, bado ni si tunaenda soko. That morning, my partner is in Githurai 45, mimi niko Marikiti. We are meeting there at the shop. We are already tired, Masais are trying to help, but again we need hygiene. So we are the one to still do the blending. So now, we establish a totally new challenge that tunahitaji mfanyikazi. We are 2, but we still need someone. What is the essence of this someone hapo? Si tukimaliza kublend, kwenda soko, all that, tunahitaji mtu wa clean the shop, kutoa hizo maganda, na then abaki to sell for the rest of the day. Abaki auze the juices. So we can go clean up, take a rest, or probably join huyo mtu later in the day. Hapo ndo shida ilianza, brother. That is where Nairobi began. We thought we were in Nairobi until now. We had to involve someone else to help manage the business. We didn't invite someone to manage the business. We invited someone to take us back from where we came from, rock bottom. You come at the shop later in the day, 0 sales, no juice. How that worked is still a miracle I'm trying to do some research on, because usually una expect if you make these liters of juice, kuna hii pesa, juice imekunywiwa. So but literally we could find hakuna juice, hakuna pesa. And don't you forget, I have already told you how tired someone could be by already morning hours, mid morning, and by jioni unaanza kupata una pesa. When you stay longer in the business, like let me say by 2022 ikiisha, tunajuana na the people selling us the item, so una expect you don't have to even send the money. Watakutumia vitu later in the day after you do your sales, you can send them the money and all that. So now tunapatikana kwa position yenye unadaiwa na watu wa soko. Mfanyikazi pesa ionekani iko wapi, alafu nyi wenyewe mmechoka. You have your needs to cater. Hiyo ndo kitu tuna rely on entirely. That's why we took a loan. Otherwise any business could wait, ukusanye pesa kidogo kidogo from wherever and just put up a business. But now the business that we thought will fuel from our end to this, it's not even trying to cover halfway of that. So now we tuna face mfanyikazi and tunamfuta kazi, and we take someone else to stand in that space. In our wisdom or lack of the same, before the guy started job tena tunamuexplainia your predecessor alifanya hivi, anauza atupati pesa. So the guy, it's like we were giving the guy a cue. Okay, so ampati juice na ampati pesa, so mkipata juice na mkikosa pesa, it's fair. That was the biggest mistake. Tulimpea a head start, so yeye aliingia direct, ashajua juice ikue pesa isikue. That's exactly what happened. Juice iko, pesa hakuna. So pesa inapotelea wapi? Haiuzwi. But in real sense, juice inauzwa, margin ndio inaongezwa vibuyu kadhaa in our different juices. We used to have a red juice for pineapple because tulikuwa tunafanya beetroot and pineapple. Unashindwa by the third day ya hiyo juice kubaki imekuwa more white than red. What's the miracle? Are we having some miracles around here? We realize now we're meeting random customers from who knew us, of course, we were there in service. So mtu anaanza kukwambia juice zenu hazinibambi. That is something I never had in that industry ever. Juice zetu hazikubambi aje. We did the best juices. So tunahave kuonja hizi juices later in 2 days, 3 days, and zilikuwa inaitwa neutralized. Hazina sukari, hazina anything, zimewekwa maji, and the guy anatusaa vako tu, he has nothing to say for it. Hiyo kitu ilianza kutu-traumatize a lot. But now on our initial business plan, tulikuwa tumesema we are not relying on the shop alone. So tulikuwa tumejiambia tunauza kwa duka, but tunaenda na some machines kwa events. So any event happening within Nairobi, we used to book a space for that. Be it we could go like Rema Fest, the one that used to be yenye inakuanga hapa Kasarani. We used to have a stand. Nairobi Fest ya Sakaja the governor, we used to have a stand on that. KCB, rugby, those sports, we used to have stand. Church, Catholic church meetings, the one they come, a lot of them from different places. We used to book a stand in that. So in the long run, by 2023, tulianza rely more on the events than the shop, because tunaona shop tunaumia, but we cannot cover your space because we can't be there the whole day. The fatigue is too much. So we're going for the events. So for the events we went full force. Tuko na the mixer, so zinapiga tu hivi, zinatoa juice baridi, it's just serve go. Let me tell you now another joke. These events were crazy. The juices are legit. Zinatupea big money. You cannot imagine me telling you that we with even over 100 liters of juice, 100 to 200 in a single day in one event. Like na Rema Fest in a single day we could do even up to 150 liters. Unapata in a single day you are pocketing up to 50,000 just juice ya 150, 150, 200. We could do good money. But here is the curveball. We are expecting to kienda such events, that kind of money is just crazily in our pocket, and we are at last telling ourselves, poleni, polero. But polero was supposed to be on the negative side, because the more we engaged our machines in this huge production, zilikuwa zina backfire. Now, ungepata one day of such kind of production, imepiga machines zote, and they are totally either to be bought new, zimeharibika, ama they are to be repaired. The kind of repairs amounts that were being asked to repair those machines was another crazy part. Don't you forget, the more the production, pia watu wa soko wanatudai equally such amount of money. So kwa 50,000 toa hata around 10 to 15,000 tu ya the items to be bought. Hiyo tu ni utabaki na kitu 35. Randomly, like one of the machines yenye ilikuwa inatupea pressure ni venye blender ilikuwa blender kwanza was one of the worst. And we were using the commercial one. I will not name the brand so that nisiharibie brand jina, but severally we had to buy a new blender. That one I'll tell you for sure. Because una repair, if an event is running for a whole week, uta repair Monday, u repair Tuesday, come Wednesday you have to buy a new blender. And then you are not going to use one blender. Utatumia like 3, because kuna time yenye event inastahili kwanza, you are not also going to mess that. We have to be there in time. So tukaanza kupata another side of this business that we didn't anticipate, where if we are really to make huge amount of money, we are also to repair these machines. Despite kukua zimekuwa on service, it's now a challenge completely on that. This thing started growing pressure and pressure and pressure, because at the end of the day, rent inahitajika ya nyumba, where we live in different houses, we are partners. Kuna nyumba ya kazi, kuna mfanyikazi, kuna stima, because pia production stima it's a thing, inatumia a lot of stima. Kuna freezers running, vitu kaa hizo. And then there is the market part, where tunalipia the products that we are using. Can I be honest to you? The weight started being more on how to run this business than even the profit. Tulianza kushift mind sasa, tuache kuunda hii profit, to focus on hata kama hii business itarun kwanza, because inalemea completely. How are you asking me to run a business yenye leo ni tume make a sale ya 6,000 na total expenditure at the end of the day, ama what I'm demanded to give back ni 7,000. I'm totally operating in a loss, and it's not going to stop soon, because as I said earlier, hii ndio kitu tunadependia sote. It's a partnership, tunagawana hii do, we have our personal needs. We are all depending on this shop. So now I started realizing I'm learning some of the hardest lessons. Like, you cannot run a business while you are putting a lot of pressure on it. By that I mean, utaran biashara ukiwa unataka ikwench kila need uko nayo kama mtu. A business can do that, of course. Lakini I'm saying, when you are on hapa mwanzo, don't put that kind of pressure on a business. That unataka ikulishe, ifanye hivi, you want to live a fancy life depending on this, you will sabotage that business. That was one of the hardest lessons, because the expectation is high. So whenever unaingia, till ijamita certain amount of money, ushakuwa frustrated naturally tu, yani you struggle, frustration ina come naturally. So the funniest part iko kwa anybody in food industry ama vitu kaa hizo will tell you, kuna time of the day tu kama kuna pesa fulani ujaunda haitakuja tu hiyo do, you know. Na juice is not different. Kwanza kuna problem na when it's raining, when kuna baridi, so you have like tuseme toka saa 4 hivi kukipata kajua kuanza kuuza juice. By the time inafika around 7 PM, wewe jua kuna pesa kaa ujaingiza, utaingiza hiyo siku. So you see, you have your expectations, unataka hii biashara ifanye hivi, but ishaanza kukushtua because there is tuseme by hiyo time umeuza 1000 bob. Unakumbuka sijatuma pesa ya miwa na daiwa sijui 1500. The truth is vitu ziko tusiziko kwa fridge and all that. Na nao ongeza haka kaishu na kwambia uachie mtu mwenye pia hiyo do yenye unadhani unamlipa na pia anakuibia. There is a day jamaa mwenye alikuwa anatusimamia, I went to that shop with my friends. So my friends bought, walinunua juices za 800 shillings. So we buy that and then the culture was atujauza leo. So I come jioni kufunga duka and the guy tells me make sales za 300 bob. Mimi nimeshtuka because I think he's saying apart from ile 800 ilitumwa ameuza another 300 bob. But this guy literally meant everything ameuza hiyo siku ni 300 bob. Like he was so accustomed kutuibia to the level that alisahau hata I came with the people that gave the 800 shillings. Your threat becomes the person in that shop. The person you are entrusting ati akuundie pesa. That becomes your biggest threat. Because there is no day you are... Now, let us be Kenyans. Wacha tukue tu wa Kenya and then we do a simple math. Niambie kama mfanyikazi genuinely ameuza 800 shillings in a business. Na jioni amekuambia ameuza 300. Ni kumaanisha mtu ameiba 500 shilling. Amekuachia shilingi 300. Na hiyo 300 amekuachia ni wewe unamlipa, na wewe hiyo 300 unagawana na mtu mwingine. What is that someone doing to you? Is it even you or even the business? Literally this someone is sending you home. Yani mtu si rafiki yako. Muite kando tu mwambie you are not a good person. We si rafiki. You don't want me even to leave. You are sending me back where I came from. My roots, Nairobi is underestimated. Nyumbani, that's why you're sending me. Si hata uibe nusu basi, tukue partners. Si uibe 400, unibakishie 400. 500, you must be the investor, not me. Now you see, this is what is happening with most of us. We just ain't confessing. We don't have a way of tracking down how we are doing the math at the end of the day. Accountability. Utaambia mtu apime. So we at some point decided acha basi we put a metric on how tutakuwa tunapima so that we can estimate. You see now, we used to do this. Tukaanza kupima in liters, you know. Unajua blender inatoa this amount, so ikipotea. So now we have an issue where anaongeza maji, tumejua hii, so it's not workable anymore. So we think this guy is out of tricks, only to realize we are the ones out of tricks, not him. Umse ali switch card. What he used to do ni anauza na the vitu zenye zimebaki, the likes of miwa, the likes of maembe, he could make new juice na anaongeza kwa hii yetu. So when we're doing that the next day, umse tuko na juice yetu tu intact. Hakuna kitu umedu. Si juice yenu iko hapo na haijauzwa. What money are you asking me to give you? You see? That thing started coming in as a trauma with time. And I think during that time, I started making the most genuine cries from within. Najiambia, I'm going back to the business plan every day na I'm looking where I'm going wrong, because we made every plan, from buying machines, from how to outsource the funds, how to run the business, the management part. The loan was sorted because my partner was from the county, so that part haikuwa inatu affect. Anakatwa mshahara. That's why I said entirely we were depending on this, because he had no salary coming in. So now I'm looking at the business again. Hata najiambia, we planned even not to depend on the shop, to depend on events, ilete do, but we still not getting it right. I won't entirely trash events niseme they didn't give us a thing, but events don't happen every day. Hiyo ni kitu ya once in a month, twice in a month. You cannot entirely rely on that. So eventually, kitu yenye inauzwa kila siku is what you are expecting, it was sustained in the long run. So I'm looking at the business plan and I'm telling myself, hakuna kitu tumekosea hapa. And we kept holding on and holding on. Tunajiambia tusifunge hii biashara despite the way it's becoming unbearable. But eventually, I think sometime early 2023, around May, we shut down the business. That was on the first phase. But to me, I don't like giving up. I like if honestly kitu imelemea, napenda tu kujua it's genuine that hii imelemea. I like that part of life. But mimi kwangu I didn't feel nilifeel hii bado. So like 3 months later, I went to a different location because we still had the machines. We started that business again. That is, we shifted to Kahawa Sukari to redo this business because I feel we haven't still lost. So now we got someone for that business. Now what we did, nikamwambia, because we were not really bad of that time. Doors were opening from left, right, and that was happening. So nikajiambia, how about tupe mfanyikazi 50% of what the shop is generating, so that ajidedicate to the business as if it's hers, so that we make sure I feel enough kutuibia. And hata tukaongeza new specs, tunaongeza ujipawa, one of the most trending being even currently. Sidhani kuna mtu haja try ujipawa, and if you uja try, I think you know about ujipawa. So tukampea half of that. But let me tell you, sijui fate ndio ilikuwa joint na wezi na Bluetooth ama ni nini, but even after 50%, she still came for our 50. A 50 that was supposed to be 2 people's 25. Yani it's a crazy world, this one. I'm there one day nikikunywa ujipawa and I hear customers wametoka nowhere wamesema tuko na ile deni ya mchana ilikuwa ya 400 and the lady just outrightly in my presence aliambia the customer, eka kwa namba yangu sieke kwa till, and I was right there. I'm telling you, the ujipawa in my bowl yenye nilikuwa na kunywa, the kakalabash haikuwa inateremka. Yani I am driving a lesson that very moment, and I'm learning one thing. It's a cruel world, and you being good to people does not really, is not a temptation or a bargain of whether they are going to be good to you. It's not a cheap, unaweza sema nimekuwa mzuri kwako, you need to be good to me, usidanganywe na mtu. I think it's more than that. It's one of the things I would want my fellow business people to tell me what they have seen. Kukuwa mzuri even to people around you does not compel them to be good. It's not even a bargain. I think it's more than that. And I think with time I'm learning hard lessons, and I'm learning in business world you can get everything right. Piga mpango yako fresh, get the capital and still fail. Yani fail effortlessly. Mark that part. Kuanguka tu ile ambu. You can do that completely. Despite taking everything, nilifanya hii na hii na hii, you can still fail. So mimi at 2025, I'm learning something. I'm still learning, of course. It's a process. But I learned something. And this is one of the hardest lessons that I'm to tell about. I'm learning, despite doing everything correct and the fact that you can fail, that makes us human. And when you walk around every day and you call yourself a human, that highlights that you are naturally limited. By limited, I mean, kuna levels too you can't reach as a person because you are human. You are not a supernatural, you are human. You are automatically limited. As long as you bear that name. Umbwa ikikimbia hapa na ukimbie, you realize a dog is faster than you. Now, it's just because you carry the name human. Those are the kind of limitations nasema. Kuna vitu tu wezi fanya beyond what humans can do because you are human. And one of them is that the only role you have as a human in the business world is you plan, you look for capital, you make perfect execution for your business, you organize management affairs. That is what you are required to do as a person. But one thing that limits you as a person, utaendea customers nyumbani.